This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag redheaded She-Hulk. Let me tell you, the fifth force is strong in me today. Fifth force, that's me. Fifth element, hey, Luc Besson, nice shot. But the wise feminine she Socrates of the 2020s is going, you know what? It takes this body, this amount of hair, this many 5 decades of isolation from humanity to figure out how to create Flotston paradise right the fuck now. Oh, and please let me get somebody do my Chris Tucker hairdo. All right, bring Chris Tucker into the casting zone. I got some roles for him. No, like Socratic dialogues, really. Not roles. I don't quite know yet how I would capture Chris Tucker brilliance, except in having a Socratic dialogue where we let it all go Fridays. You remember? But not just the Ice Cube one. That's a double fucking entendre. Do you remember like the evening show, Julia Louis-Dreyfus? And there's the guy, got to have a pill. I don't even remember who that was. Who was the comedian who was on Fridays with Julia Louis-Dreyfus going, got to have a pill. He's like, got to have a pill. He just was like he was like a Terminator pharmacist. Shame on all of us with lives of comfort, whether it was small or large, for not altering a society where when people have trouble paying, the Terminator credit system starts charging them more and more money for not paying. How are you not supposed to kill a person? You're having trouble paying, probably because of your health, although mostly because the rules of the society make it impossible for most people to get a job. We got the bar is this high to have a job, and then everybody else, we're just going to charge exorbitant amounts of money because they can't pay because they can't high jump up into the job. And then we'll ruin these people's health and life and make them actual, like, semi-criminals. Get evicted means you don't have a home, means you'll never be able to have a home again because you won't pass any apartment rental checks. But you got evicted, there was a constraint of money at some point, most likely for reasons beyond your, entirely for reasons beyond, nobody just chooses to get evicted. Now, in some ways, somehow, you may have had so much trouble, you sort of like push back from the table. I cannot eat any more of this ludicrous capitalism shit anymore. So here's the title. The title is about cravings and the fucked-up-ness of positive thinking. Here's how it works. There's 2 kinds of cravings, 2 really important kinds of cravings, which is somebody who's lost 150 pounds after turning 50. On my way to 200 total fucking pounds. The fittest 52-year-old on the planet. Most definitely mentally. And we'll see. Somebody sponsor this competition, create this documentary, and we'll see how I can't be able to outperform every 52-year-old competitor. Male, female, this, that, and the other thing. I'm so fucking optimized in my bioelectricity. Bring me a 52-year-old. Expert. And I bet my generalist philosophical synthesizing mind can beat you at your own game. Maybe not by the standard measurements, right? So you're doing your thing, you're all this, you're an expert, and you got all these standard measurements. You keep getting better, better, better. But sometimes the game, you're not measuring some of the obvious things, nor most of the rare things that provide most of the return. I'm saying to y'all, I'm so mentally fit, I could figure out how to win the game more efficiently than the experts. I gotta demolish racism this decade. Now, I don't think you're mentally fit enough to sit there and listen to my implementation. But trust me, I'm a philosopher who was a software consultant. I implemented payroll software. Ask me this. Would there have not been a scandal to hell if payroll software worked like Microsoft products? If it was that random, all of these updates and taking over your computer when you have this important meeting first thing in the morning, and you just like, you're literally abducted by Microsoft updates, willy-nilly. And this person's update, and that person's update, notification and notification. You are not in charge of your mind anymore. Hyperdigitalization is. So that's cravings and positive thinking and tech, all of the same problems. You think you're in charge of all this shit. You think individuals are in control of whether they're evicted or not. When the society is set up because you get paid this and it costs this much to live. That's what y'all's capitalism does. Says, we don't gonna pay people this much when it takes this much to live. You have to have a living wage. It has to be a fair fight. People have to make enough money to pay for a residence at their job that they spend 40 hours a week at. So capitalism creates evictions. Capitalism creates homelessness. Individuals don't choose to become homeless. Ever. Not even the cray-cray ones. Now the cray-cray ones, of which I consider myself part of the tribe, not in the way that I could be diagnosed, but in the way that the amount of embodied empathy I have for people whose stories keep getting ignored. And they keep going, but it's so important. Okay, I'm gonna try. Let me try it. Let me do a fable for you. You'll understand the intensity of what I need to communicate if I make it a fable. If I create like a Star Wars kind of world, let me science fiction. This is so important what I'm trying to tell you. That's what causes people to have mental breakdowns, y'all. You don't listen to them. They need to be heard. And so they keep trying to make up a different story. And it's an internal story. It's an expression of their soul. But the language they have is informed by and limited by the inputs of what the knowledge of what they've learned, the things they've chosen to read for pleasure, the screens that they watched, their community of origin. I had nobody in my community of origin who saw the philosopher in me, nor the performer, nor the gorgeous 50-year-old redhead. None. Nobody saw nothing in me that was communicated or reflected back to me that I did something extraordinarily well, such that I might want to dive into it, have that be my career. When I was a girl, I wanted to be a physicist, atomic physicist. I was reading the encyclopedia, got to atomic physics. I'm like, oh, quarks, love all this down into the foundational life stuff. And I took my first physics course in high school. Mechanical physics was not compatible with the inquiries into consciousness that I thought atomic physics was going to be at. So I got accepted to Carnegie Mellon, early decision, because this is how smart I am. I graduated high school in 3 years because I simply did the math. I was like, well, this many credits, you say in 4 years, but there's all these study halls and who's what's it up. Like 18 credits, like that's 3 years. I mean, I think, I think maybe let's say it's 20 credits. So that's 6 per year and one class for 2 summers, which is the 2 summers between 3 years of high school. So 3 years of high school, smarter than the state of Ohio, got accepted to Carnegie Mellon, early decision. I don't know how. I would love, I mean, I'm talking literally here. I would like to get my college admission application. I'm pretty sure I wrote about Martin Luther King Jr. I'm pretty sure. That's as much as I indexed what I wrote, and because it had to have been, my grades come from this small ass stupid school. I mean, I had no extracurriculars to speak of. Certainly had nobody recommending me on my side or anything. How did I get into Carnegie Mellon? Inquiring philosophers want to know. So I was there the very first year that the philosophy department was established, and as a part of a ramp up to computational linguistics co-PhD with Pitt. Computational linguistics. That's why I'm blockchaining myself for posterity. Breadcrumbed, blockchained, televised my evolution. Because I am Ms. Evolution, the prodigy of Mother Nature and Father Time. And trust me, there ain't no time necessary if there ain't no mothers. We're at the point where we can envision mothers figuring out how to do it without fathers at all. In the way that our world is set up right now, financially, we done already thrown the men's to the curb. But yet, they still making all the goddamn money. I'm here to disrupt that. Cravings. If your body, when you're talking about financial, creating a brand new financial system, goes potato chips, or even simply drink of water. Honor what your body asks for. That craving is important. Forget about what people say about potato chips. You can stay alive on potato chips. Your body is your best friend forever. Your body is simply trying to keep you alive at a really high level. Like your body is so intelligent. And just because you're not smart enough to know how intelligent your body is when it gives you cravings for potato chips, just shut the door. I don't want to talk about that further. I want to make sure you understand this. That there's 2 kinds of cravings. If your body asks for potato chips, go on ahead with yourself. If a commercial tells you to buy potato chips, or somebody in your family goes, do you want some potato chips? These external signals, you should make another, you don't want to mindlessly consume potato chips because of an external signal. And you want to come in and body like, well, really, we just wanted to drink of water because, you over here performing with your verbal acuity. And you're getting a little parched and your tongue's about to start stumbling over itself. Full embodiment there. So look, positive thinking is the same way. So you got cravings, you got internal body, truthful messages, go on ahead all the time. But be mindful, and you might figure out why your body wants potato chips so much. It might be because that's the only reliable food stuff it knows it can get you to eat when you need salt because you're following some cray-cray anti-sodium diet shit, okay? But you have to get the potato chips a few times, and then your body will give you a little bit more information. Because it's not going to spend the time making sure you get the full message if you won't answer the door. So positive thinking, same thing. There's truthful positive thinking. But we're in the positive thinking realm because again, that talking about it that way, it's not going to disrupt your thinking. We're talking it positive. It's your internal thoughts. So what the whole concept is make your internal thoughts positive. You can't consciously make your thoughts. Just like you really can't consciously control most of your autonomic function. Breathing being the most prominent example, but Wim Hof shows you can change your blood pressure, you can change your temperature regulation. We can, once you get familiar with gamma brainwaves, you can start changing your physiology. You do have access when you learn how to control your autonomic responses. But mostly, how you think when you are talking seems like you're doing something. And you're doing a little something. But most of the work is happening back in the kitchen, where the diners aren't aware of the mayhem and the bullying and the fingers being nearly sliced off and the arguments with the vendors, and it's kind of. But in our body, just so much is going on that we just don't have the conscious mental capacity to really know all about it. But we can optimize our mind, our mental fitness, and become more and more aware of the meta level of our body functioning. You can communicate with your subconscious. I'm the little redheaded girl who's grown up to be able to give Sigmund Freud vagina envy. So my definition of subconscious is state of the philosophy in 2021. Where's the subconscious? All these motherfucking neuroscience geeks out in the world. May I ask a question? Where, in all this map and terrain of the brain that we've minutely mapped, where is the subconscious? The subconscious is running our whole body. Blood flow, heart rate, oxygen, carbon gas exchange, immune system, hunger, satiety, thirst, temperature, sleepiness, talking to y'all, moving my hands around. You don't have the attention span to even let me go on to talk about 9% of what your body's doing. That big processor is what people like Robin Williams, who would go into these flow performances of just every little association would be funny, funny, funny. He optimized his brain for that kind of funny, funny, funny. I've optimized my brain using that same precise skill to go all philosophically poetic. Hashtag redheaded She-Hulk. Racism makes me angry. And until we get skin correct, we do not have a shot at reversing global warming, stopping the US of hypocrisy from being a nation prison like that whole old Kurt Russell movie. I don't know. Or Manhattan was all a prison or some. I don't know why I'm having trouble remembering the name of that movie. Because it feels pretty real. The U.S. of hypocrisy is in a dire situation. Billionaires are trying to escape to another planet, yo. And you just throw money at them. You're like, well, we want to make sure the billionaires get let's just get them out onto the rowboat first. The Titanic is sinking, y'all. And we don't want the ones we save to be the ones who are invested in recreating the system that's nearly self-extincting our species. The industrial hyper-digitalization crowd are more inhumane than most of the despots who we've endured, like Hitler. The reason being, everything evolves. And the instantaneous access to quality data and to quality relationships with humans around the globe, Africa's always had my back, means today's billionaires have far more responsibility to the future of our species than ever before. In the earliest days of when we were all in Africa, when population was small, they cared for us all so that we grew. But as we spread and migrated across the globe, there were a lot of opportunities for individual heinous men to take down a civilization. Mayans here, Aztecs there. But now we've come back together under one global financial system, accepting a very tiny portion of people still living in hunter-gatherer societies. Very small. Most people in Africa live their lives as capitalists, forcing slaves to capitalism. Because all they want to do is live where they live, be happy, create crops, feed their family, have conversations, have the opportunity to dance and sing with their neighbors. Instead, it's like, well, you gotta buy this fuel to run these machines to make you food. You gotta buy these fertilizers. You gotta buy these supplies to package so that we'll give you a few pennies and we'll go sell this for a lot more money. Cocoa farmers in Ghana we're talking about right now. Fuck all this. Fuck all this. I'm interested in learning about and sharing, just as the spark, just as the match, just as the intro presenter, ancient African secrets, ancient Ayurvedic secrets, ancient Navajo secrets. This all came from Africa. And it evolved and adapted as people told new stories. This is what humans do. Humans like to tell a story, and then go tell it a second time and alter it a little bit. Give some feedback on, like these characters, not so fond of these characters. It's different and it's incompatible and this is right and this is wrong. It's all the same story. Creatively adapted. Adaptation happens with in a human lifetime, within a human's thought, with, supposedly everything you read could help you adapt your thought a little bit more if you're doing it correctly. Mostly in social media times, we seek out things to read that are exactly what we already think. Killer waste of time. And like we got time to kill. Hyperdigitalization has enslaved human attention, just like agriculture enslaved human bodies and industrialization enslaved human minds to repetitive, grinding, assembly line. Human minds, bodies, and especially souls are not custom built for repetition. That's what we built machines to do. Humans are supposed to be doing new and new and new and new and new. Why there's so many religions? Keep taking the same need for a cosmology, a story about how it all fits together. Tell it. And again, what characters really resonate? Which characters do you stop talking about? It's all evolution. The answer to everything. Ask me the question. And you can stick around long enough for me to contextualize evolutionary logic for your ass. There's nothing that you can ask me that will stump me. Now, you gotta be smart as me to stump Deb. And I stumped myself. And there's some voice recorders last night when I was trying to fall asleep. I couldn't remember what it was that had made me need to get on the voice recorder, and it was that I was so pleased I stumped myself. So obviously I didn't want to dwell, because I really have stumped myself. But the degree of difficulty of the question I asked myself must be recorded. Eyesight's getting better. Not perfect, but it is improving. I mean, asking my subconscious to, and it's posture. With presbyopia, it's all posture. There is some that maybe you don't blink more, which dries it out or makes the lens inflexible. It's posture. Some sort of something that may be associated with, perimenopause. Different hormonal dynamics in the thyroid. That if you're not paying attention, if you don't, or you're fully occupied with taking care of the needs of others, you don't quite know that you're always leaning in or leaning away, or I don't know. Presbyopia can easily be sorted. Do a little conference on that. Webinar. So, cravings, two kinds. Your body asks for it truthfully. Go on ahead. Really audit if a craving comes from an external source, whether it's in your best interest. Every now and again, go for it. But only every now and again. Positive thinking. Again, if the thoughts come internally in your own dialogue, they're your personal truth. The thoughts are coming in reaction to the external world. They're probably rarely 100% accurate in your own mind. Like if you're going off and I should have said something to this and what this person said this and I'm going to try and figure out why they said it. You need the data from them. In your own mind, the data you're going to consult is your own experience. Which is entirely different than their own experience. And oftentimes, it's the fact that English words have like 4 meanings. Oftentimes, we're sitting here like fighting to the freaking death, and we haven't established, oh, I meant novel like as in like a work of fiction, and you meant novel as in new. Establish context. That's a simple way to establish civil dialogue. All right. No, really, you are not in control of your thoughts. This is why I'm saying fucking positive thinking. You cannot control your thoughts. I feel like it because you're talking, you're doing this conscious activity that you're sort of recording. But most of us don't know what we're doing. See, I am recording. That's why I'm on YouTube Live. I play my film back. I watch myself. I've gotten entirely comfortable with what I have to say in the world. You can't ever take that from me. That's human life force's potential. Our memory banks, the only riches we will ever have. But your memory, the capacity to access your memory banks is constrained by your physiology, by your wellness. And what it feels like we're in control of is basically verifying that we're using the right words for what we want to express. That's about all the 40 bits of conscious processing. We're sort of doing we're skim reading what we're saying to sort of we're sort of on track. But your thoughts, when you turn off actual speech, they flow a lot faster. The speed of thought is much faster than the speed of speech. And just like our eyes, the images are upside down. Our brain adjusts. So the way our eyes physically work, the images in the lens and the retina, and it goes all the way to the back of your brain, and images come all the way through your whole prefrontal cortex. Humans are wired for sight. Seeing is believing. But energy medicine is not only the truth, it's far more powerful than chemical medicine. We just can't see the effects of electricity in the same time frame that we see the effects of chemistry, or in the visual way that we see the effects of chemistry. Because as again, the speed of things, the speed of chemistry is way slow. Speed of chemistry is snail's pace. The speed of thought is cheetah pace. All right? You constantly making decisions about something down here that contradicts something up here. This is the problem with our world right now, is we will fight to the death that this is right. And because when you have that perspective, you can say a lot of details about it. That's not how you prove something, that you have a lot of correct details underneath it. It's that does this contradict this? It does. Then you got to alter this and alter this until you establish homeodynamic balance. That's the math of life, y'all. 1 + 1 = 3. 1 woman + 1 man equals a third baby. Oh my fucking Lord. 9 words it takes me to offer you the secret to fixing everything that's wrong with human civilization. And people like, oh, well, maybe you should say male and female. Or maybe you should make sure you put the female first. And I really mostly want the man first. For good reason. Woman is the conduit from male sperm to baby. It really matters the order in which we put the fertile feminine, the wise feminine, in the central decision-making role. We choose the men. The men should be stopped immediately. From forcing themselves on women. Financially, sexually, splainingnessly. Stop fucking mansplaining. Some motherfucker on LinkedIn. Saying all this, gonna read saying all this. He doesn't want me to call myself a racial anarchist. He sends me a picture of, love him, John Lewis with his good trouble. Well, I'm not the one who's saying the anti-racist labels for white people all got to start with A. You got your allies, your accomplices, and your abolitionists. And none of that works for me. Anarchist does, though. I'm ending racial categories completely in the parlance of our time, while helping to demonstrate how we do talk about different skin colors in a loving, admirable, curious way. We honor that we have a variety of skin tones. That's all that's necessary. We don't need more legislation. We need more knowledge transmuted into wisdom. That's what this generation she Socrates is all about. Philosophical she's Sherlock of human potential. All right, that feels so alive. I feel alive to be at the pinnacle of my preparatory process for debuting my work to the world. Now, I've been ready for a while, but y'all ain't been able to handle my truth. And still, it's I don't know how long it's going to take because I am not embodied like you are. The reason I became bankrupt is that my body processed time differently. The toxic mold exposure altered the components of my brain responsible for timekeeping to stick on you got to pay all this money every month schedule for an entire human's life. When humans get sick, they need to opt out of that kind of treadmill of constant sympathetic stressors. You have to be in parasympathetic mode consistently over time to match the assault that you've endured. Hibernation. So all that's really needed. Your body can heal everything. If you can stop doing what it is or experiencing, the poisoned air or whatever, you got to stop the thing that's making you sick and then give your body enough time to recuperate in stages. And there may be a bodily phase, there may be a mental phase, there may be a nutritional phase, there may be there's a detox phase, here comes a rash. It's not a fucking switch your body. It is this gorgeous fractal pattern of afferent circuits. And you are not smart enough to understand the wisdom of your body. So that's where I think I'm the smartest person in the world. In the domain of having daily conversations with my subconscious about how it's operating, what it needs from me for us to stay alive. The world is not paying attention to me. The world is not paying me for my capacity to philosophize about human well-being. And there ain't no grocery store jobs available. Everybody is already on wait lists miles long on my little island to get to work at the grocery store. There's no jobs that I can do that I can get to. But if I could, do you want to lose the fact of I fucking stop Parkinson's? I can fucking change fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue definitions. Overnight, people can start reversing those conditions. You want me to get paid an hourly wage to stick this intelligence into the square peg of putting money into shareholders' bank accounts? Fuck y'all. Redheaded She-Hulk. Look, I'm just Bruce Bill Bixbying it over here. I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm dead broke. You know how hard it is for me to get somebody to give me a quarter to get on a payphone to get one of these scientists to give me access to their labs? How would he do so well? Because I'm telling you what, on social media, all the scientists ignore me. Now, I have friends, connections, and I run a lot of stuff through PhDs. But I mean, like, Matthew Walker. I'm a fucking elder savant of hibernation over here. I know why we sleep, philosophically. And I left. I think I left. Have done a really good one. I got so much good stuff. We're big on meditation being the clutch. That's sort of what I want to communicate in March. Got to make the money. Got to make the money. Got to make the money. Not save humanity. Just make a bunch of money to pay a whole bunch of late fees. Okay. Over and out. Harmony, y'all.